is my true reason for being. I will find my own purpose and purge this planet of all who oppose me, human and Pokémon alike. The world will heed my warning. The reign of Mewtwo will soon begin.
Hey, Arcaders! Welcome once again to the Cartoon Connoisseur Theater podcast and our mini-cast Pokemon Rewind. We are here because we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Pokemon! Yeah! And because we are celebrating the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, we have a very special two-part podcast for you today. So we're starting today with the first part of Pokémon the First Movie. That's right, we're going to go through the whole thing. But we're also going to be throwing in some of my friends, my Poké-pals, if you will. And we're going to be talking a little bit about our Poké memories. Poké memories? Poké memories? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so to start this whole thing off, I have a very special friend here with me, Sayako, and she's going to interview me. And just to start things off, we're going to give my memories about Pokemon and about how it means to my life. So go ahead and shoot.
Okay, well, of course, the first question is, what was the first Pokemon game you played?
The first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Red. I had a giant brick-sized old Game Boy that my dad had bought for me with Link's Awakening. And I actually played that for a long time and never beat it, actually, which is sad. But I did enjoy the game, and I had heard about... I was in 9th grade, and I heard about this thing called Pokemon. And it reminded me so much of when I was younger. I love animals. I still, to this day, love animals, and I love just learning all about these different animals and learning about both real and mythical animals. Dragons tending to be my favorite animals. And I really, really love just learning about them. And Pokemon kind of brought that out in me. And I remember talking about this with my friend at school, and we just sat there just strategizing how we were going to play this game and what Pokemon we were going to catch. And we didn't actually know anything about the game. we just kind of imagined what the game was going to be like. And we all decided, I was going to go sneaks in a town at night and leave a coin on the floor so I can catch a Meowth. That was my plan. So that was my whole plan of doing this. And so I had a whole list of Pokemon that I actually want to catch, Pikachu being number one, because Pikachu was the first Pokemon I ever saw. And because he was an electric mouse, that really gave me a charge. I don't know. So anyways, and I really enjoyed just the design of Pikachu and just the look. And then before the game came out, the anime started playing, and that kind of got me even more excited for the game. And I would run home every afternoon after school, and I was about to say after work. Technically, school is work. So I would run home after school just to sit down and watch this show and watch Ash and Pikachu. And I've always wanted to have a Pikachu on my shoulder, and tell him to do Thunderbolt and fight even though Team Rocket would be easy, I'd love to fight Team Rocket. And you see all this stuff, and being a person who has a huge imagination, it had my imagination going. And I really, really just love the game. And Red was my first version. I spent so much time in Pallet Town trying to figure out what to do next, because everyone in the town was telling me not to leave. So I was like, well, what can I do? And finally, I after hours of of trying to figure out what to do next. I finally was like, screw it, I'm leaving the town. And then that's when everything started happening, and everything started to gel together, and the game became a lot better after that. So, and then getting through the game and doing all the different puzzles and catching the different Pokemon and finding the hidden Pokemon like the legendary birds and then later on Mewtwo was something that was such a great thing about the game that I really, really enjoyed.
Very cool. Well, to piggyback off that, who did you choose for your first starter Pokemon?
See, a lot of people had a hard choice with this. They looked at the first 3 starters. They didn't know which one they wanted to pick. For me, it was obvious who I wanted to pick because when I saw Charizard for the first time, I was like, "You're mine." So Charmander was my starter, and automatically, because of Charmander, and it's funny because he has actually been one of the Pokemon I tend to always have. When I play some of the games, I remember getting a Charmander when I went through the first game, and then second generation I had a Charmander, and then I remember having a Charmander in the other games, and then later on when X and Y came out and you could pick Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, it was already decided who I was gonna get. I was gonna get Charmander because I wanted Charizard. And not only just because I love Charizard, but because his Mega Evolution was amazing looking. Both of them. And so I really wanted to make sure that I got it. And so being a kid who loved dragons and has always wanted to have a dragon as a pet, I saw Charizard and went, I want that. I want to have that. I want to jump on his back and fly around. Even though eventually I found out that Charizard's only 5 foot tall, so that dream's dead now. But
so I'm taller than Charizard, and that's saying something. You're not that tall.
So yeah, that dream is dead. But whatever.
Well, I think I already know the answer to this next question, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Who is your favorite Pokemon?
Who is my favorite Pokemon? Well, my favorite Pokemon obviously is Charizard.
Obviously.
I mean, a fire-breathing dragon.
Really, I'm shocked.
But if I would, since I've already talked about Charizard already, I have to say, though, I would say that the very close second, almost tied, would have to be Pikachu. And not because of his fighting, because we all know that in the game he's not really viable as a Pokemon, as a fighting Pokemon, which is sad, because he's the mascot of this whole thing. But anyways, but his design, Pikachu's design, his look, the way that they got his voice perfect, the voice actress who does his voice is just, she does it perfectly. She's a very good at doing Pikachu. And when I started doing my comic and adding Brad into it, I did some research on Pikachu. And finding out all this information about Pikachu and about how she actually does different inflections of the word Pikachu depending on what she's talking about. So, for example, when Pikachu says Ash's name, it's I forget how you say it. I forgot. Well, anyways, he says his name differently. When he says Togepi, it's P, which sounds just like it, So it different inflections of how Pikachu says things. I just thought that's really cool, and just the design and look of Pikachu is really so. Pikachu is my close second, but Charizard's my favorite.
So then, what's your favorite Pokemon type?
My favorite type, that's easy. Dragon types. Ever since the first game, dragons have always been my favorite animal. And when I heard there were dragon types in the game, I automatically flipped my lid. And of course, the next Pokemon I got after the next Pokemon I really wanted bad after Charizard was Dratini. Because Dratini was a dragon and turned into Dragonite, which was even better because it was one of the strongest Pokemon in the game.
But don't forget Dragonair, one of the most beautiful.
Dragonair, and even Kingdra, even Seadra, and was a dragon type technically. And dragon types at that time were not as plentiful as they are now. There's so many dragons now, and I have to say, if there's a dragon, if I could consider myself a type trainer, it would be dragons. I love dragons, and also because I've realized living in Florida, I really hate the cold, and cold is the weakness of dragons. So there you go. I share something with dragons.
There you go. So then, what's your favorite Pokemon game and generation?
My favorite generation and my favorite Pokemon game. My favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon Silver, so that my favorite generation is Generation 2. Generation 2 was such, even though the original game was good, and don't get me wrong, I don't hate it by any means, it didn't feel as real as Gen 2. Gen 2 made it feel like a world that I was actually in. And with so much that you could do with day, with night, with scheduling the bug catching contest. I would actually wait until Saturday so I could do a bug catching contest. So I could see if I could finally win first place, which I don't think I ever did win first place. But I love the bug catching contest. I love all the little events that they put in the game, and it just felt so much real. And then adding on top of that, all the Pokemon they added just made it so much more of a rounded game, and that's what I really enjoyed. If I could say a third place would probably be Gen 6, because it really brought that spirit again of the originals back. Second place was the original. Second place was the original games. Second place was the original. If I could give third place, it would be Gen 6, because it brought so much to the table. But, I do enjoy all the Pokemon games. I don't think there has been a Pokemon game where I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to throw my hands up. I'm done with this series. Ruby and Sapphire was the game that I got out of Pokemon, but I think it's several things because of my age, because of the game taking a lot of features out that Gold and Silver had. I think that and the disappointment, but I still played the game. So that's the game I enjoyed the most, Gold and Silver.
So then, what region would you consider to be your game hometown? If you could have any hometown, any region would be your home in Pokemon. Which region would you want to be in?
That's easy, Johto. Yeah. Johto, for all the reasons I just mentioned. Such a wonderful place to go, and I actually at sometimes I kind of miss it, because when you're sitting in your bed, you're wide awake, and can't fall asleep because you're thinking of things that happened 5 years ago. Then I'm like, well, I wish I could go back to Johto and just kind of, stay there for a little while. But yeah, I'd say Johto, and Ecruteak City would probably be my hometown. I've already picked it. My vacation home.
That's already there. I've always liked Goldenrod City. It's right there by the ocean. But you got all the big stuff to swim. I feel you there. All right, so then, favorite character from the games, non-gym leader or Elite Four. Favorite character?
I'd have to say, and this is going to be really weird because he's a newer character, Looker, actually. I enjoyed Looker. First of all, he looks like David Tennant, and I think that's actually, he was designed after David Tennant as the Doctor. He's such an interesting character because he's like Interpol in the Pokemon world, and he's chasing all these bad guys. But I think the best Looker thing that I've ever done is when he's introduced in X and Y, and this whole story that they have at the end of after you've beaten the game is just so heart-wrenching. And then later on in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, if you beat the game, and I'll go ahead and say spoiler alert, you do meet up with Looker, but he has amnesia and doesn't know who he is. So I don't know what happened with Looker, and I'm kind of hoping they continue with that. I'm really hoping Pokemon Z gets announced and something happens with that, so we'll see.
That would be really cool. I mean, I like Looker. He's fun. Mm-hmm. He's fun. So then, piggybacking off of that, who's your favorite gym leader / Elite Four member?
Gym leader would have to be Misty. I think it's because, first of all, she was in the show, and you got to know her a little bit better in the show. Also, I kind of just like her attitudes. She loves her type of Pokemon, and even though she knows that if she has one type of Pokemon on her team, it's a little bit more difficult than having a variety of types, but she loves them. She loves that type, and she loves those characters, and I just really enjoyed fighting. She was the hardest trainer, especially since I picked Charmander. So since I picked Charmander, I had such a hard time beating her Staryu and Starmie, and I had to really train up. And finally caught a Pikachu. I had to go back to the Viridian Forest, which means I had to go right back through Mount Moon and then all the way back to the forest. But caught a Pikachu and beat her, and I was very happy about that. But I think Misty, definitely. I missed her in the show. I think she was a little bit more rounded than most companions are. So definitely Misty. And my favorite Elite Four is actually fairly obvious. It's Lance. Because he has dragons. What else can I say? He has dragons. And I have to say, though, close enough to Lance, though, is Cynthia. I really enjoyed Cynthia. I thought she was such a cool Pokemon trainer. And the fact that you actually meet up with her, just like with Lance in the second gen, you actually meet up with her fairly early in the game, and you actually follow her around. And then later on, if you get Arceus, you unlock a whole extra story with her. And you get a level 1 Palkia or Dialga, which is also awesome. I think Lance, and probably tied with Lance, would be Cynthia. And now that I'm actually going through Diamond and Pearl and watching that, I actually get to see her in the flesh. And get to see what she's actually up to and who her character really is. And just being a really cool trainer, just like, especially since she had that Garchomp, and I was like, oh my gosh, you have a Garchomp. Automatically, you're awesome.
So anyone with a dragon is just basically...
Yeah. Basically, anyone with a dragon, even Iris. I'll even give it to Iris. She had an Axew, so you know.
Axew. Alright, so then, who is your favorite evil team?
I think this is very unanimous between all Pokemon fans. I may be wrong, because I'm going to be interviewing some younger trainers, hopefully, in this. But I would say Team Rocket. And the reason I like Team Rocket is because it feels more of a real organization. It's the mob. They're basically the mob. And they're trying to steal Pokemon. It just feels more realistic than a lot of the other teams. You know, Team Aqua and Team Magma... Team Galactic were okay. Team Plasma was interesting, but still, I just... And Team Flare, which I'm going to go ahead and answer the question already. Team Flare is my least favorite, because it's just like, I don't understand your purpose for being. I did like Lestrade as the villain. I thought he was a pretty cool villain, but I just didn't like the team as a whole. But I like that Team Rocket is this team that they just want to steal Pokemon and take over the world, but their boss, who starts off that way, turns out to be a good guy later on. You know, that's really cool. You know, he actually helps you fight Team Rocket near the end. That's cool. You know, so I have to say Team Rocket, yeah.
Well, we have to say the coolest plot twist ever when you find out that the mysterious gym leader who's missing constantly is the Team Rocket Bomb.
Yeah, that was a
good twist.
That was a twist. That was a twist.
Honestly, that's a twist up there with, Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
Coming out of left field, being like, whoa.
Yeah, this guy who you fought several times in the game is the gym leader of.
And he's ready to kick your butt.
Yeah, and he has like super awesome Pokemon. Is definitely that too.
So besides the main video game, what other Pokemon and things are you into, like the anime, the other games that are outside the continuity?
Okay, strap in. Here we go.
So this is the killer of the question.
Be ready for this, because it's gonna be the longest one. So I really enjoyed a lot of the side games. My favorite has to be Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness for the GameCube. I really enjoyed that game. I know a lot of people had a problem with it, and I can actually see a lot of their arguments. But the story, the thing I think I like the most about Pokemon XD was the fact that it was a different story than the actual Pokemon games. It wasn't you going around getting the gym badges. It was just you in this world trying to purify these evil Pokemon. And yeah, even though yes, you stole other people's Pokemon, which a lot of people didn't like, I thought that was kind of an interesting little twist. But it was such a great game. I really enjoyed it. I love the world, and the soundtrack has to be the best of it. I did play the Pokemon trading card game. I got it. I've had a love-hate relationship with that game. When it first came out, I was everyone loved it because it was all Pokemon, and I had to have all the cards and had to have a whole Pikachu deck, and had to have a Charizard deck, and had to have a Dragonite deck, and I used to actually have friends in the neighborhood who would actually play the card game. We'd have them come over and we'd play the card game, even though I don't think any of us actually understood the rules of the card game.
No one cares, okay.
So, but later on, believe it or not, when I was older and an adult, I actually got back into the card game for a little bit. I have a friend who will hopefully be interviewed on this podcast. He actually came to me one day and said, "Hey, I know you like Pokemon. I have a Pokemon trading card game league that I want you to join." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to something like that. It's going to be all kids except for you. You're just going to be the only person that's like under the age of 10 there." I really don't want to go. And for months he bugged me about it. And finally I was just like, "Okay, I will go, but I'm not going to like it." And so we went to this Pokemon trading card game club, and it surprised me because there were so many people that were my age and older that were playing. In fact, the leaders of the group were actually, I believe they were around 40, 50, maybe, and they had kids. So, and they were like the leaders of this group, and they played the card game. So it just surprised me so much. And actually, for almost a year, I actually joined the club. I actually beat one of the gym leaders and got a badge, which was my crowning achievement. I had one badge, woohoo! So I learned a lot from that. I enjoyed it. In fact, I love the card game so much that I decided to make my own card game. So I actually came up with my own card game and actually made cards for them. And to this day, I actually still have those cards in my card card collection with my Digimon and Pokemon cards. So I remember playing the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy, which also got me into it, which is also an amazing game. So if you haven't got it yet, awesome game. You can get on the eShop. It's just like the Pokemon game, except you play cards instead of actually having Pokemon. So it's really cool. So yeah, I have to say the card game, the anime, of course, as you're probably listening to this podcast, I like the animes. I at first was not a big fan of it, and as I've started to do this podcast and actually watch some of the episodes, I've actually come to respect it a lot and enjoy it a lot more now that I'm an adult, more than I actually enjoy it as a kid, which is really surreal and weird. But even if it's a bad episode that I'm sitting there going, just grabbing my face and going, oh, I get to see Pokemon in the real world, and I get to see kind of how they would actually be if they actually lived in our world, and it's kind of neat.
Very, very cool. So we're not going to talk about the anime because you've talked about the anime previously.
Mm-hmm.
Your fans know your anime.
Right,
cool.
Because I'm doing a whole podcast about it. So.
Really so instead we're going to ask you, how has Pokemon influenced your life in the last 20 years? How has
Pokemon influenced? I think Pokemon has influenced my life. I mean, because I've been... It's one of those things that is a huge part of my creativity. Because there are very few things that I have in my life that not only I like as a fan, but actually have influenced me as a creative person. And Pokemon is one of them. Doctor Who, Homestar Runner, and Mystery Science Theater. And these things have such an impact. Star Wars, the number one, Star Wars. These things have had such an impact on my life that it's really just changed me. And that's what Pokemon has. I've been in and out of Pokemon. And when I was a kid, my mom was like, "Oh, you'll be out of this in 5 years, Joshua." And it was actually kind of surreal because growing up in middle school, I was ridiculed a lot because I was a guy who liked cartoons. And apparently, according to kids, I was actually not supposed to like cartoons anymore. I was actually supposed to be a grown-up and, like, you know, evolve or whatever. So I just don't want to grab that Thunderstone and turn into a Raichu. So there. But I've enjoyed it, and, you know, I've found a lot of friends because of it. I have been influenced by it greatly. I mean, heck, I make a whole comic with Pokemon characters in it. And it's become one of those things that it's become more than just a video game. It's become an influence, and it even enhances my love of animals and finding all these information about different animals and how they live in the wild. And you know, it's so weird because I wish I had a Pokedex and just pull it out and just see what the animal is all about, you know. So, you know, that kind of thing. So, yes. That influenced my life.
I feel like it's influenced a lot of people's life in a lot of different ways. So then, you've played Pokemon for so long, you've seen it grow, you've seen it expand. What do you want to see from it in the next 20 years?
What do I want to see from Pokemon in the next 20 years? I would like to see Pokemon become a little bit more, and I know this is going to sound real weird, but become a little bit more real. Become a little bit more... feel like a real world as opposed to just a video game world. Now, I'm not talking like virtual reality and, you know, even Pokemon Go, I think, is a good step in that direction. I'm very excited about Pokemon Go.
I'm super excited for Pokemon Go. I'm ready for it.
I've already told my mom that I'm quitting my job and becoming a Pokemon trainer. Because
I'm going to be your water type gym leader, folks.
There you go. Because if an 11-year-old kid... if a 10-year-old kid can go around the entire world and not make a cent, I can totally go around the world without having a job and catch Pokemon.
That's what Pokemon has taught us, yes.
But I really want to see it become a little bit more realistic. I want to see a lot of the ideas that were good ideas in past Pokemon games come back into a new Pokemon game. You know, taking events, you know, making it more realistic, putting calendar stuff in the game, making night and day a little bit more of a thing, you know, instead of just, it just changes the palette. And, you know, in Gold and Silver, you even got different music. Gold, Silver, Diamond, and Pearl, you got different music between day and night. You know, I enjoyed, in Black and White, I enjoyed seasons. I like that the seasons changed and the landscape changed depending on the seasons. Although I didn't really understand when the seasons actually changed. I didn't really understand that. In fact, I didn't get a Stunfisk for a very long time because it was winter most of the time that I played Black and White. So it was a very long time before I got a Stunfisk.
I mean, honestly, though, why would you want a Stunfisk?
True. This is a true statement. But anyways.
They're one of the few Pokemon I despise.
Yeah. There are some Pokemon out there that I despise, but I do think that Pokemon has become a huge influence in so many things. I've seen Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions and seeing how much the music really influences people, and the stories, and even the anime has turned it around a lot to where they have really started to make it so. And this is a trend with most cartoons nowadays, is they've really started to try to make it more for everybody, that anyone can just sit down and watch. And I've even seen less localization in anime nowadays, especially Pokemon. They've stopped trying to localize it and just kind of let it be its thing.
You mean onigiri aren't jelly-filled donuts anymore?
No. So
down with 4 kids.
So I think it's going in the right direction. The movies are getting better-ish. The animation is phenomenal. Like I know this may even be sacrilegious to say, but I think X and Y has the best animation since the original.
The original does not have great animation.
I mean, the original is not perfect, but I still liked.
It was made in the 90s.
Right, it was made in the 90s, but still it had that kind of really kind of neat look to it that I haven't seen. But this new season of X and Y it looks gorgeous. And I can see it now as I'm going through the seasons and episodes of shows. I mean, I I haven't seen Diamond and Pearl until just recently. I just started watching Diamond and Pearl, and it's so weird to see like them try to add CG into the animation, and it's just like I still miss some of the old voice actors, and I think some of them did probably a better job. But I'm getting used to the new voice actors and the new characters, and Black and White still is my favorite season, and I'm hoping that will continue on with the series. And it looks like with Pokemon X, Y, and Z, at least I saw the Japanese intro, and it looks very much like the intro to Naruto, and I'm like, well, somebody's jealous. So we'll see what happens with this new one. I'm hoping for a new Pokemon game. I'm hoping for them finally to stop teasing Pokemon Z and just give it to us. Just give it to us, Nintendo. Come on, stop teasing us. Just give us the game. We know it's coming. But I think that's definitely what I want to see. I also want to see a lot more stuff from fans. I know I'm doing this podcast now. Some of the stuff on YouTube that I really enjoy, like the decks. I really enjoy the decks. I think it's such a great resource for not only just Pokemon and Pokemon battles, but also you get to see where these Pokemon came from, and you kind of understand them a little bit better. Please, someone tell us about Vanillite, because I really don't understand that. But oh, I guess I'll have to watch it because I still don't understand it. But I understand a lot more about Pokemon now because of the show, and it gets me interested in seeing where they're going from that. So that is what I enjoyed. So before we go on to our next interviews, very, very excited to bring you guys the Pokémon the First Movie, which is probably one of my second favorite Pokemon movies. The first favorite is Lucario and Mystery Mew, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, I'm sure. Or you can go on YouTube and watch the review video that I've already done. But I really enjoy this because I think that this movie has probably one of the most well-rounded characters in all of Pokemon, and that, of course, being Mewtwo. So I hope you enjoy it. We'll talk a little bit more about my feelings about the actual movie sometime in the review, and I hope you enjoy our special guests. Now let's go on to some more interviews.
Hello, Pokemon Rewind listeners. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
We are the hosts to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, found on thereasonsimbroke.com every single week, where we cover comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. We want to start off by thanking Josh very much for including us and considering for the Pokemon Rewind Pokemon 20th Anniversary Special.
Woohoo!
So these are some questions that he handpicked, and we were very happy to answer. So once again, huge thanks. Kicking it off, going right down the list here on what Kelly and I will have different answers for some of these.
Course.
Probably all of these, actually. So you'll answer and go with the first one.
Sure. So the question is, what was the first Pokemon game you played? So for me, it was Pokemon Blue version. My cousin actually owned the game, and he had beaten it, and he's like, this stupid Pokemon crap, like, you can have it. And so he just gave it to me, and I think I went out and bought a Game Boy just so that I could play this game, because, like, he just gave it to me. Why not?
How old were you at this point?
I don't even remember. I remember the first time I actually played it, though. I was driving home in the car, and it was dark, and I had to play it between the street lamps.
Yeah, for me, it was Pokemon Blue. And what got me into it was the anime. Mm-hmm. And right soon after, I found that there was a video game adaptation for it, or rather, the video game came first, and then the manga, and then the anime, and all of that. So, of course, I got Pokemon Blue and the Game Boy Pocket, but it was the slim one. It was, the Game Boy Pocket, that's what they called it. So it was still in black and white, no color on anything. And back then, of course, there were no back screen lit things or anything like that. So as you said, we had to use terrible light devices to just be able to see this game. Never worked well. So Pokemon Blue was my first. I don't know why I chose that over Red. Couldn't tell you. It was many, many years ago. But that's the one, my very first game.
So the next question is, who did you choose for your first starter Pokemon? I already know your answer. Everybody knows your answer.
Yeah, regular brokettes know this, and it goes in with our next question. Ties in perfectly. Who is your favorite Pokemon? With who did I choose? Bulbasaur, number 1, number 001 on the Pokedex for a reason, because he is the absolute best. My favorite Pokemon.
So my first starter was actually Squirtle, because I didn't know anything about the game because I was playing Blue version. I thought you had to pick Squirtle. Don't ask me why. Young child logic. So he was my first starter. I've worked with every starter over forever. But Pikachu is my favorite Pokemon. That's why I was so happy when Yellow came out, because then he could be my starter.
See, for me, I had a special bond not only with Bulbasaur because it was my very first Pokemon, my first starter, but also in the anime. The character was pretty well developed based on how many Pokemon they actually develop on the anime. And in this case, Bulbasaur was a hard worker. He was brave. He protected the village, the little Oddish that he kept saving. And even when he said, "Look, Ash, I'm going to be on your team, but you have to defeat me in a Pokemon battle and actually capture me." It wasn't like the other Pokemon that just dive into the Pokeball and they're a part of the team. He said, "You're going to have to work for it because I'm a worker Pokemon. You have to work as well."
You know who else they developed? Pikachu. You know who else is also in every episode? Pikachu. I'm just saying. Just saying.
My favorite Pokemon game / generation is another question here. My favorite is Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Heart Gold was the one I got, and it goes right back to the remake of Gold and Silver. You go back to the first region, the one you grew up with, Kanto, but years later, and you see all of the changes. You go back and you revisit all of the gyms, defeat them at higher levels, and that experience was phenomenal. It just doubled the gameplay for me.
That's also my pick as well, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Soul Silver was the one that I picked. Yes, I loved going back in time, but replaying all those cities again, it's almost like you got 2 games for the price of one. And honestly, I have looked for that second region in every single game I've played since then. So Heart Gold and Soul Silver was great. It just kind of set the standard. And when they did the remake, they did such a fantastic job. I have nothing but good things to say about that game.
And that was the time when the Pokemon followed you around as your companion. And it wasn't just select Pokemon, just your starter. Or
all of them.
Every single one. If you wanted...
Why don't they still do that?
If you wanted a Wailord following you around, I don't think it'd go inside a Pokemon Center, but
no, they go back and, I had Arceus following me at one point, and he would just, go back in his Pokeball.
I didn't even know Arceus was a Pokemon back in Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
I think I, Game Sharked him. It's not called Game Shark anymore.
Now, I don't know if Arceus was even around back then. I don't think the data existed in Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
I had Arceus in my Soul Silver.
Well, Brokettes or other listeners can correct us on Twitter at ReasonsI'mBroke.
He was there. Why would I make this up? Why don't you believe me?
Next question. What's your favorite type of Pokemon?
Oh, this one's hard. You go first.
For me, it would be Ghost types currently, and it changes all the time.
Ghost type.
But Ghost types only because right now with the Pokemon TCG Online, it's considered Psychics, but they're Pokemon. They're actually Ghost types in the game and in the anime. All their different moves, Psychics in general. Psychics, and I lumped them all together because of the TCG. Gengar, Alakazam, some of the coolest Pokemon in the game, some of the best designs. And for that reason, it just happens to be that Psychic types have my most favorites out of all the types.
I'm going to have to say Flying type was my favorite in the game. I don't play the TCG because that's just lame. But definitely in the games, you always had a Flying type in your party because you had to fly places. And once you got Fly, you never walked anywhere ever again. But they just had such a vast variety of moves. And then those Fighting type gyms were always the worst things ever. And you had your Flying type, you were fine.
Or if you had a Psychic type, you'd be fine too against Fighting.
No, just Flying.
Which region do you consider to be your game hometown?
For sure, Kanto.
Yeah, I agree also.
That's, of course, the game that we grew up on, and that's probably why Heart Gold and Soul Silver was so amazing, because it's you got to go back to the old game that you fell in love with, that made you fall in love with this franchise.
Yeah, you go back home. Mm. Favorite character from the games?
You go first. Do they mean a Pokemon character? No, a person character.
That's what I would assume, and I have to go with you yourself. You're the trainer, so you're controlling... You're essentially in the game, kind of like Zelda, where Link is supposed to be the player, which is why Link doesn't have a voice yet. And in the games also, you don't have dialogue. Even when you face yourself in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you just have the period, and then the battle begins. Because who knows what you would say to yourself? It's just continuing. So to me, yourself, you being the trainer, you have so much control over what you can do in the game based on the teams you build. Your personalities reflect the Pokemon that you pick. And because of that, the main character, the starter, the trainer, that is who would be my favorite character.
Boring. I actually have a few favorites. Sorry, I couldn't pick just one. The old safari man who lost his dentures and made you walk and pay like 14 times to get into the safari zone. From the first game, you remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Love that guy. How can I remember this? I don't. That's how you know these characters were memorable. The captain on the SSN who's just throwing up in a bucket.
Yeah.
You're the captain. Why are you seasick? I don't understand. There's so many characters. I love Giovanni, too, from the first games, because he was so mean, but then you realize he's kind of good, too. Like, he just wants to do what's best for everybody, but he's being evil to do it. And from Gold and Silver, Misty was my favorite, because she had that little love affair, and then you interrupted, and she was all pissed off. Ugh, fantastic.
Who's your favorite gym leader / Elite Four member?
I feel like Koga was my favorite.
Koga was very cool.
Because he was so hard. I think he was the only gym leader that I had to fight like 4 times.
He's also an Elite Four member in the future.
Exactly. And that always stuck with me too. And his daughter took over his gym.
Right.
Which is awesome. So he's a family man. So he was definitely my favorite.
My favorite gym leader was Blue in Heart Gold and Soul Silver when he took over in Viridian City for Giovanni after Giovanni mysteriously disappeared after he was beaten by a 10-year-old. So he leaves the whole organization and Blue takes over, and he doesn't have a type as most gyms do have. They have like a theme to it. Not with Blue. He uses his Elite Four champion team. And that's who you got to beat, and he gives you an Earth badge. As far as Elite Four members, Lance.
Lance was great.
Not necessarily because of his personality or the difficulty in the game, but he loves Dragonite so much. He has 2 Dragonairs and the Dragonite in his team. Later on, he has multiple Dragonites.
Doesn't he have an Aerodactyl too?
He also has an Aerodactyl and a Gyarados.
Yes. Amazing. Wasn't he in the first game and in Silver and Gold also? Yeah,
and I believe he makes further appearances in the other games, although not a huge role as he had in Silver and Gold.
Good picks. So who is your favorite evil team and who is your least favorite?
My favorite evil team is Team Plasma. And for that one, they had 2 leaders in Pokemon Black and White 2 when the team split up due to differences in how they feel they should treat their Pokemon. Colress was on one side and N was on the other. Colress he was a researcher who wanted to develop the inner strength of Pokemon, and N was all about separating humans and Pokemon because he felt that humans shouldn't enslave Pokemon at all in Pokeballs or anything. All of his Pokemon were volunteers. He never caught them or trained them like we do. They were all volunteers at their level, and they fought for N because he's kind of right. You just take Pokemon from the wild, and then you force them to fight for you. But they do the spin where they're your friends, and they want to fight. But for N, he says, no, they don't. And we're going to take Pokemon away from people and set them free. It's one of the few times in which a dynamic for the villains does make sense, and that's what makes these Team Plasma so interesting.
So who's your least favorite?
Definitely Team Galactic. The main goal for them was for rebuilding the universe in the leader's image, which was Cyrus. I don't know. It was lame. Like, you're going to use Palkia and Dialga to recreate the universe just because of you and your ego? Get out of here.
So my least favorite was also Team Galactus. I don't even remember what their whatever was. And that's why they're my least favorite, because I don't even remember them. So obviously I thought they were lame.
Least memorable.
Exactly. My favorite, Team Rocket. Come on. Team Rocket. And they had the best music. And when you got to Yellow, then you had Jesse and James and their Meowth running around.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys doing? But Team Rocket was even great because in the second and Gold and Silver, they were still around, but they were still trying to find their leader. But they're like, well, I guess I'll do things till he shows up.
Yeah.
So really, And that all goes into the anime too, because they're all around and they make you laugh. So forever Team Rocket fan.
And you still want a game where you join Team Rocket.
Yes! Why won't they make this? I wish they had a game where you could, like, because, so you run into that Team Rocket member, and he's like, hey, do you want to join us? And I was just like, yes, let me join you. Because I would have moved up in the ranks and then made it a better Team Rocket. Would have been great.
Next question. Besides the main video game, what other Pokemon things are you into?
All of them.
Except the TCG, apparently.
Except the TCG and the TCG Online.
I love the TCG. I've got a competitive Psychic deck, which uses Gengar EX.
I hate it.
From the Phantom Forces set.
It's frustrating.
And Chandelier from that very same set.
Hate him too.
When that set came out, that's when I realized, okay, I'm getting back into the TCG hard. I love Psychic types. Those were always my decks playing 5 years before I got back into it. And now back into it, I'm making it work. I win maybe half the time when I play in Pokemon TCG Online. And you can check out those videos on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/thereasonsimmbroke. We like the anime. We love the new series. We've been watching them all ever since. And like you said, almost everything else Pokemon, we at least give a shot.
We have Pokemon clothes. Someday we will have Pokemon tattoos.
Yep.
I have cosplayed as Misty Ketchum, a.k.a. Ash. And I have red hair, so it just became Misty Ketchum. I would love to cosplay as Misty someday, but I actually have to work out for that, so that's never going to happen. But I don't think there's anything that Pokemon could come out with that we're not into. Pokemon Snap is one of my favorite video games of all time, forever. I can beat that whole thing in an hour. It's an amazing experience.
Next, have you ever watched the anime? That's clear at this point.
Of course.
We have, and we're still watching it.
Yep.
If so, what's your favorite character, human and Pokemon?
So I think Pokemon, we can both answer with our favorite Pokemon, obviously. Yours being Bulbasaur, mine being Pikachu.
That's right.
I would like to give a great shout out to Iris's Dragonite.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because he was amazing, just punching people. Not Thunder Punch, just punching people.
Not listening to orders.
Exactly. He was pretty amazing. As far as human, who's yours?
There's a lot of good ones. I really like Brock because he's always hitting on all the ladies, every single woman. That's probably my favorite. Ash has actually grown, even though people argue, well, he lets go of his Pokemon all the time and he's retraining his team. But if you look at the first episode up until the latest one, he has developed quite a bit. And as far as an anime that's been going on for years, you got to be really careful about changing the characters too much. And I think they hit a really good balance with Ash at this point. Another shout out with the Pokemon is Krabby. Krabby, when he was caught, it was his first Pokemon battle, and Ash uses it in the championship leading up to, not even the Elite Four, but it was just the Pokemon Championship tournament. And it's the first battle he'd ever used Krabby in. That thing wins all of its battles against the 3 Pokemon and that 1 trainer, but it also evolves to Kingler that same match and also destroys the last 2 Pokemon. Amazing. I still watch that clip all the time of Krabby.
Yeah,
never before used. Listens to Ash and kicks butt.
I would have to say Brock is probably also my favorite character. Just so funny, and there's so many memes with him. It goes on forever. I love Misty also. Just that original team, I think, had a great dynamic that you never saw with any other group throughout the anime. Maybe it's because I'm a Gen 1-er. Shh. I don't know. But I will forever ship Misty and Ash also.
How has Pokemon influenced your life in the last 20 years? Big celebration, 20 years of Pokemon.
How has it influenced my life? It's taken so many hours of my life.
So much money.
So much money. But the thing is, I'm still excited about it, and I'm not ashamed to be excited about it. You know, I talk to people all the time, and they're like, oh, you're into Pokemon? I'm like, yeah, Pokemon's great. Like, why are you not into this?
Yeah, it's an awesome experience. It's got me way more into video games from the very beginning, which is very important because it's taught me about newer franchises, newer series that I normally wouldn't have played if I wasn't so much into Pokemon. I've started my own Pokemon League at the place that I work at, which is also great because there's a little community that we've all built into, and for the last year and a half has been going on very strong. The most successful gaming event at the shop that I work at. So that has been the most rewarding because I'm studying to become a teacher. So running a Pokemon League, and I have taught classrooms in the past, but running a Pokemon League kind of keeps me sharp into that because, you know, I'm in charge of the league materials and the players, new players, teaching them how to play, and just trying to keep the environment friendly,
being
competitive,
around children.
but friendly. Yeah, lots of kids to take care of, lots of adults to babysit also, and all good things, all lots of fun. There's just so much that Pokemon has contributed to our lives, especially.
Of course. And the final question, what do you want to see Pokemon do in the next 20 years?
I can't give a correct answer because no matter what I say, I'm sure it sounds great in retrospective, but when you actually see what Pokemon does and you think that's the wrong move and then they end up making millions off of, then you look like an idiot. So it's going to be very tough. I'm not smart enough to make that decision. So all of this is just mainly selfish reasons on what we want to see in the next 20 years. The franchise needs to continue. It has to continue to be a handheld game because they are pocket monsters. So that is going to have to be number one for the company because that is their moneymaker. Continue with the Pokemon movies, continue with the anime, even if we still see Ash in Gen 10 or whatever with a brand new team. That's completely fine. But they will have to do something in every 5 or 10 years that brings back the first generation of fans, just like they did in X and Y. You get to choose a new starter, but then when you get a couple of towns into the game, boom, first decision again, Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. That was very smart. It got a lot of players back into the game. You got to do stuff like that every now and again to get everyone back. Less remakes. We've done enough with the remakes, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Soul Silver, Heart Gold, and now we've done a remake to Ruby and Sapphire, which many people have asked for, and it wasn't exactly the greatest game. So hopefully by this end, that will be it. But more from the X and Y region too, because that has been the best Pokemon game in years. And the story itself has been phenomenal too.
Definitely. They do need to keep growing and keep going in the direction that they are. I think they've done a great job of pulling in the old players as well as appealing to younger players as well, brand new people, getting them on board with everything. You say no remakes. I want to see a remake of Yellow. We haven't seen that yet. Give me a Yellow remake. And give me either a remake of Pokemon Snap or a brand new Pokemon Snap. Because with the Wii U gamepad, there's so much that you can do with that now. But again, they want to wait for something new, blah, 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 blah.
DNX.
Just make another one. I think no matter what, this franchise is around for a long time. We're going to continue to see great things. And it's just going to keep building. You know, my heart will always be with the first generation. And I've actually seen as we've gone farther, I've pulled a little bit away from the games. One, because I'm an adult now, I just don't have time to get reinvested in another 100 Pokemon, but it's still so precious to me and my life. And you know, they're gonna come out with, they're re-releasing Yellow. I'm gonna buy it. They're probably gonna have a Pikachu 3DS. I'm gonna buy that one too. They will always have a special place in my pocketbook.
If anything, the most popular Pokemon out there is Pikachu, who happens to be your favorite.
Yep.
So there's never going to be a shortage of products, merchandise, systems, any of that. So you've lucked out with that on that end.
Woohoo! Good for me.
Once again, we want to thank Josh for including us in the Pokemon Rewind Pokemon 20th Anniversary Special. You can find us on www.thereasonsimbroke.com or your favorite podcast catcher. Just type in The Reasons I'm Broke.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope to see you on the podcast.
Hey guys, this is Eric over here. People can call me Mr. Luna as well. All right, Josh, fire away with those questions.
All right, here we go. All right, so first question: What was the first time you ever heard about Pokemon?
First I've ever heard about Pokemon, I was about 7 years old, flipping through the channels, and then I saw that Pokemon was on. So I got curious about it, and watching the first episode, I just fell in love with it ever since then. So kept bothering my mom and my dad to get me a Game Boy Color so I can start playing some of the Pokemon games, and I went crazy with collecting the Pokemon trading card game as well. So that was a lot of fun.
All right, what was the first Pokemon game that you ever played?
First one I've ever played was Red, but I never got to beat that because a friend of mine wanted to trade his Yellow version for my Red version. So officially, you can say that Yellow was my first, I guess you can say.
Okay, who did you choose as your first starter Pokemon?
Because it was the Yellow version, I got stuck with Pikachu. Not saying that was a bad thing. I mean, thankfully I caught a Mankey. No, not even a Mankey. I raised a Butterfree to beat the first gym, and ever since then it was like smooth sailing from that on.
Cool. All right. Who's your favorite Pokemon?
My favorite Pokemon? That's hard. We have like, what, over 722 now?
25.
25? Oh,
Yep.
Jesus. Okay. I'd say as far as design goes, I'd say Greninja. But if I'd have to choose, it would have to be either Typhlosion or Tyranitar. It's going to be like, it's a toss-up between those three.
Okay. What is your favorite Pokemon generation?
Favorite Pokemon generation? Definitely Generation 2. Crystal version all day, every day.
Yeah. Represent. What is your favorite Pokemon type?
Favorite typing? I really don't like consider like typing like as a favorite, but if I'd have to choose, I would probably say like Psychic.
Okay. Which region do you consider to be your hometown?
Johto.
Johto. Okay. And what town in Johto is your hometown?
Town in Johto? Probably Ecruteak City.
Okay, Ecruteak City. Okay. What's your favorite character from the games?
Favorite character from the games? Oh, jeez.
It could be a gym leader. It could be just a character that you meet. It could be a rival. It could be...
I'd say Silver.
Silver?
Yeah, the rival from the second generation, because, you know, obviously when you first meet him, he's a complete, like, badass over here, like, trying to push you off and everything, but then, like, he eventually gets to grow as a character, and I think there was, like, an additional, like, chapter for him in the Heart Gold and Soul Silver, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I read a lot about that, and I thought that was pretty cool when he learned about Giovanni and being his dad and all.
Okay, who's your favorite gym leader or Elite Four member?
Favorite Elite Four member? Lance. Definitely Lance. I mean, come on, he's got 3 Dragonites.
It's true. It's true. This is true.
It's broken.
Any gym leaders?
Gym leaders. TikTok. Lieutenant Surge.
Lieutenant Surge. Okay. Who's your favorite evil team and who's your least favorite evil team?
In the back. Team Rocket would be my favorite. The worst? What was it? It wasn't Team Magma. It was the one from Generation 6.
Oh, Team Flare.
Team Flare. They're the worst ones by far.
Okay. All right. Besides the main video game, what other Pokemon games are you into?
I'm into Super Mystery Dungeon right now. I'm liking it a lot. Cyndaquil was my first, like, my main Pokemon with Froakie being my secondary. But yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool.
All right. Have you ever watched the anime?
Of course I did. I mean, that's how I first got exposed into Pokemon, if you listen to my first question.
What's your favorite story arc?
Favorite story arc? The Johto region.
The Johto region. Well, yeah. Okay.
I'm a little biased, I'm sorry.
All right, now who's your favorite character in the anime? And this could be a human or a Pokemon.
Favorite human or Pokemon? Definitely, like, my favorite, like, character would have to be Brock.
Okay.
He's always been there, like, since the Ash's battle with him, and then, he left at the end of 3rd generation or something like that?
He left after Diamond and Pearl.
All right, after Diamond and Pearl.
So he's been in there. He's been the longest companion.
Yeah. So Brock all the way.
Okay. Any Pokemon?
Favorite Pokemon
from the anime?
From the anime. I'd probably say Wobbuffet from Team Rocket. I don't know why. It just comes up at the most inopportune times, and it seems perfect.
All right. How has Pokemon influenced your life in the last 20 years?
Well, in the past 20 years, growing up, like, in middle school, like, Pokemon was all I can think of. It wasn't until after the 2nd generation where I kind of dropped off of the Pokemon. I mean, I still watch the show every now and then, but besides that, it wasn't until my nieces, when they got into Pokemon, which kind of like sparked more interest, which gave me the spark to get back into the games with 6th generation. So I skipped Gen 2. I went from Gen 2, skipped everything up until Generation 6. So going strong, still liking it. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think? What do you hope for Pokemon in the next 20 years?
you're probably going to hate me for this, but
Okay.
I would love to see a Pokemon kind of designed after a toilet. Make him a water and poison type.
Oh no!
I mean, come on, we got sludge, we got garbage, come on, give us a toilet. If they're not going to give us poop, at least give us a toilet.
Is that the only thing you want to see in the next 20 years?
No, besides that, I don't know, I guess just keep the mechanics, like, as fair as possible. I wouldn't say, like, make it totally easy to do EV training or IV, but maybe, like, reduce the RNG a little bit so that we can, like, have a much higher chance of getting our shiny Pokemon or our perfect IV Pokemon. But besides that, I'd say it's perfectly fine as it is now. Like, maybe in the future, maybe down the line, I would love to have a Pokemon MMO. This Pokemon Go thing, well, it's not exactly the same thing, but it could be, like, the next, you know, like, undertaking that we can be going through. But, yeah, that's all.
Cool. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome, dude.
Hey, Arcaders, it's Ubernerd527 here, and I'm here with some very special friends. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I am Joshua, also known as T-Rex.
And I'm Diana-saur.
Diana-saur. Okay, awesome. I got other Pokemon with me here. This is awesome.
You didn't know what you're getting
Alright.
into.
So they're here to actually join with me and actually go over Pokemon the First Movie. But since this being the first actual part of the episode, I decided to go ahead and grill them with their Pokemon questions.
Yes.
Are you guys ready for the grilling?
Yes.
I am ever so ready.
Okay, all right.
Pokemon
So
cry. That's right.
all right, so let's start off with the first question. The first question is, where did you first find out about Pokemon?
I was at my friend's house. I was probably, I don't know if I was like 6 or 7, but I was staying the night. It was a sleepover. And he had the old VHS tapes of the anime. And he puts one in, and it's the episode where, like, the ship capsizes and all this stuff. And he didn't have the next tape. So for the next, I didn't actually see the end of that episode till about 15 years later.
Wow.
But
Talk about a cliffhanger.
I know, it's big.
Wow.
Big cliffhanger. But I loved the show, and then I would sit in the car and watch him playing his Game Boy, and he was in Victory Road. He let me play, and I got him totally lost, and I was hooked from then on.
Cool.
Wow. I don't know if I can top that story. I think I just like saw like this colorful little like I guess it was Pikachu, and like Squirtle and all those things. I saw them on a VHS tape, like literally the box inside a Walmart bin. I was like, "Mommy, can I have this?" And she's like, "Sure." And so I think I first watched Pokemon and was instantly hooked, and then I would have like those "Who's that Pokemon?" battle with my sister, and I would always trick her into saying the Pokemon last, so I would secretly win.
Kids, just so you know, VHS tapes were. Anyways, that's very cool. It's very cool. All right, so what was the first Pokemon game you ever played?
Yellow.
Yellow version.
Well, actually, I got Yellow and Gold at the same time. I'm not sure which I put into my Game
Oh,
Boy
really?
first. I started with Game Boy Color as my first console, but I got Yellow and Gold at the same.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah, actually, Josh T-Rex over here got me my first Pokemon game. I really, I just watched Pokemon in my childhood, but I never got into the game / I would not be as obsessed with the show / series as I am now if he hadn't got me the game. And I think it was Pokemon Y, and I loved it. I played it every day, and that's it.
That's pretty good. So Pokemon Y was your first game. Wow, awesome.
I know. Sorry, you have like a
No, that's fine. That's cool. I liked having a variety of where people jumped onto it.
Yeah.
And it makes it interesting because I jumped on with Red, you jumped on with both Yellow and Gold, and you jumped on with Y. So I picked Pokemon Y when it came out, mainly because it's Pokemon Y. Why?
'Cause why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? All right. So, anyways,
Pokemon again.
who is your favorite? Which Pokemon did you? What was your first starter? What was your first starter Pokemon? Who did you choose?
Pikachu.
Well, that was pretty much easy. You got the version.
It was chosen for me.
All right.
It has been determined in the cards.
This has been determined. You will have a Pikachu.
And I didn't get the surf one either. It was lame.
Oh.
What in the world was my first? I should know this. I just jumped on it. Oh my gosh, it was the one that looks the little fox because I wanted to know what it said. Yeah. What does a fox say?
Fire Psychic. Alright, I'm okay with
I don't
that.
like its final evolution.
All of those evolutions are just garbage.
Yeah.
I look at them like this is the
I
trash.
like Greninja. Greninja's awesome.
Yes, that's the only one I do like.
Alright, so who's your favorite Pokemon?
Crobat, all the way.
Crobats?
Confuse Ray Toxic my opponents to death.
Oh, alright.
My brother had hacked Pokemon, 1 kills, and just Crobated him. He hated me. Long battles.
Oh, wow.
Who's your favorite Pokemon?
You know, I've thought long and hard about this, and some people would probably be like, what the heck to this, but I really like Pumpkaboo.
Oh, I love Pumpkaboo!
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just so cute. It's like half pumpkin, half bat. What's not to love?
I thought you were going to say the stupid key one.
I almost did.
think-
That's actually another one of my favorites.
It's an inanimate object. That's
Wait.
not a Pokemon. That's
Do we have
That's a
time for a side
knick-knack.
note? Can I tell you why?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love that Pokemon. I thought that was stupid too. Like I heard people make fun of it, and then I was like, I read the description in the Pokédex just because I was curious, like who in their right mind would do this, and I was like, oh, it's a Pokemon with its arms that go above its head, holding onto keys and found objects, and when it faints, it like lets go of them, and it like is all oh.
no.
It's so cute.
It's like fan fiction. It's not canon. It's not.
Aw.
There's no way a sack of keys is gonna beat a Charizard just because we introduced Fairy type. And I don't know.
Hey, did you know you can actually buy a real Clef Key keychain in Japan?
Oh my gosh, give
It's
me.
real metal and everything. Yeah,
Please.
I want it
For
but
Christmas.
That's just me.
I would not view this.
It'll actually be useful.
Not be a part of this.
I will not be part of this.
Get you a 5-foot Charizard.
All right. So, what is your favorite Pokemon generation?
Gold.
Gold.
Gold is the obvious choice. If it's not gold, then you're just wrong. Yep.
Gen 2. All right.
Okay, I'm trying to decide. Of the 2 games I've played, second one being Omega Ruby. You know what? I really like the Generation Y Pokemon a lot, just because, like, they are, like, random, Josh over here, T-Rex says they're garbage, but since I played that as my first game, I kind of grew accustomed to them. But of course, I think Gen 1, like, from the original series, is probably the best, because this is Pokemon, and then they're like, what are these? Let's just add them.
But okay, the argument I always make is like Gold is essentially 2 games because you beat the first one and then you get on the ship and then you go back and you beat everyone from the first game. Then you beat that is how you make a sequel.
Yeah, I totally agree. 2 is the best one, in my opinion.
And it gives a reason for you to train Pokemon to outrageously high levels.
Right.
That's the only one where I've gotten a Pokemon to level 100. My Meganium.
Meganium.
Meganium is baller.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
Flower necklace Pokemon. Rawr. My keychain could take it.
You would like my friend Sayako because her first Pokemon was Chikorita and she loves Chikorita.
Now, I mean, the how they look originally is better than how they look evolved, except if you're Charizard. I mean,
Charizard.
because Venusaur just looks like an ugly fruit salad, and then Blastoise looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger as a turtle. Like,
I'm going to eat you with my auto pump.
I use the eyes with a pump.
You strike and hit you with it.
The starters like Chikorita just looks great, and that's why I chose her. And
All right.
stand
So,
by it.
what is your favorite type of Pokemon?
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Oh, I know. Actually, can I go first?
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, because like a while back when I was working at Disney Quest, I had this like really fun idea that was actually inspired by T-Rex, his PAX convention stories of like different people traveling around and battling trainers. I was like, oh, why don't we do that at Disney? And so I stayed up late one night and I decided what kind of Pokemon team I would get, and I decided that I really like Ghost, and with Pumpkaboo as the head of my team.
So ghost types?
Yeah, Ghost types. I think that's my favorite.
I made a ghost type team myself too, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've never thought about a favorite type. I thought like people who would build an entire Pokemon team off for one is just garbage.
Those are the Pokemon trainers. You get
Those are the gym leaders. It's
oh yeah, gym
it's
leaders. Whatever
basically just so that you have a thing. I mean, if I had to choose one,
like Pikachu could take out all the like water types. Like
yeah, it's
makes
just
sense.
so like you have a reason to train a different Pokemon.
That's a good point.
Okay, I will say Psychic, so it could beat Diana.
Oh no, I have Hoopa on my team, and I.
That's true. He's psychic ghost type.
That's right.
Well, I have Hoopa on my team too.
Is it the clone version? Because it's not as good as mine.
Movie references.
Sorry,
Unbound.
yeah. This is jumping ahead there.
All right. So, which region do you consider to be your hometown?
Oh crap! What are they called?
What are the regions again?
There's 6 regions.
Oh gosh.
So you have Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, and Kalos.
I'm not gonna
Man,
remember.
it's hard to remember.
Wow, you're good at that. You are more into Pokemon than I am, sir. What are the hometowns? You start in Pallet Town.
No. If you could pick a region to live in and consider your home, where you want to live. Like, for instance, for me, I would pick Johto. I would live in Johto because Johto is amazing. Johto's a great place to live.
Based on the anime or the game, or both?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Based on the game, mostly
for you,
based on my game experience.
Okay, game experience.
I traveled around Johto, but
okay, that's cool.
Some anime experience. Yeah.
Oh, then I like Kalos because out of that and like the one in Omega Ruby. Oh my gosh, I can't swim, so I could not survive in the Omega Ruby. Where is that one?
Hoenn?
Oh my gosh, no. I could not survive
the
there.
Southern Isles, so you know.
Where? Yeah. But Kalos is cool. It's like Paris almost. I really like that. I like the city. Your turn.
I would live on the mystery island where Darkrai's at.
So Sinnoh is your answer.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, that's where it is.
Oh, I thought it was just a different dimension. I just want my own region.
Probably could be.
I live in Magic Kent.
All right, now besides the gym leaders in Elite Four, because we're gonna get to that in a second, do you have any favorite characters in the game that you meet?
That we meet.
I mean, I met Brock in
He's
the
a
game.
gym leader, but okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wait, you can't meet. Wait.
Who do you meet besides gym leaders?
Well, I mean,
you meet random. I like Fisherman Tommy from Route 27. That guy, just how he challenged me.
Oh, you got the guy with all the magic cards? All he has is magic cards?
That's actually
I like
really
Team Rocket
funny.
Grunt number 2. His Ekans seemed particularly well trained. I don't know. He really shined to me.
Well, I guess really, as the generations have gone, you've found more characters who aren't gym leaders, but you know.
I'm trying to think of one.
One of my favorites is a character called Looker, who is like a Pokemon. He's like a Pokemon Interpol agent.
The detective dude.
Yeah, he's
You,
really cool.
you haven't done the Looker quest yet.
I haven't yet, but I've started.
That'll make him cry at the end of X.
Oh,
Does it make you cry? I haven't finished it yet, actually.
I've been like holding off because I wanted to do something else in the game. Oh, I wanted to catch the Z Pokemon, whatever its name is.
Oh, Zygarde.
Yeah.
Zygarde.
What's a Zygarde?
It's a dragon. it's a dragon. Type?
It looks like a code.
Yeah, it's. We don't know what it is actually yet, but we know it has different forms, so that fuse together into one giant Gundam style.
Gundam style.
As in the robot, not the song. But,
oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So, who is your favorite gym leader or Elite Four member, or both?
I like Brock as a gym leader, and as Teresa. I also like Lieutenant Surge. He's kind of cool, rocking. I remember him. He has a nice haircut. And Elite Four, Lance the Dragon Master, of course.
Oh, Lance. Man, I don't know. Of this generation that I'm playing through in Omega Ruby, I really liked Flannery because she's. Is it okay to say that she's hot because she's a fire type?
No, that's fine.
I want it to be funny.
No, she's. I like her attitude because she just became a gym leader, and so you never actually get to see like. Usually, when you go to a gym, they're already established gym leaders, but she's kind of new, and I kind of like that she has this like. Yeah. With her fire type, she has this kind of fiery attitude. Yeah. So yeah, I like Flannery too.
So I really cool. Yeah, I might want to see the anime.
Is Flannelly in the original Sapphire? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I played.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. You should play the remake. But I really like in this game it feels more rushed. Like you just like go to gym leader. But also in Pokemon X and Y, or Y is the one I played, it seems like you could take your time with the gym leaders. So it was like there's more of a story with them. There was one, I think her name was Karina. She was one with the Lucario.
Yes, Karina. Mm-hmm.
I think she might be my favorite because I have the most interactions with her. Because she's like, oh, hey, I'm just roller skating this way. Oh, hey, you want my Lucario? Sure.
I highly suggest watching the anime.
Yeah, I'm going to start that.
I just finished watching it She's voiced by one of my favorite voice actresses. Her name is Lisa Ortiz. Which when I heard her voice out of it, I'm like, oh my goodness, Sarah, we love you. But she actually is with Ash for a little while, and it's actually kind of interesting to see her.
I like that concept. I really like that concept because then it's like you really have those characters building with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so who is your favorite evil team? Every game has an evil team.
Team Rocket.
Team Rocket. Okay, who's your least favorite evil team?
All of the other ones.
That's a good point.
Usually it's Team Rocket's the favorite and Team Flare is the least, but you're just like everything.
No, all the others are garbage.
Anybody else?
All the others are fan fiction, non-canon.
They don't exist.
They don't exist. It's only Team Rocket.
They seriously don't exist.
It's only Team Rocket eating the Slowpoke tails.
Wait, I'm missing something. That sounds really weird.
You need to play the originals.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're not classically trained yet, but fortunately the original's coming to the 3DS stores.
Yeah,
totally
You'll hop on it, and I'll just get my brick Game Boy out.
That's right. I actually like Team Flare because I was like, okay, and the only reason is because this is my baby. This is my first game.
No, that makes sense. It makes total sense.
And they actually had a lot of personality. I thought more than Team Magma. I'm like, oh, these guys are lame. I mean, I like their outfits, but then I'm like, their leader's name is Maxie. Like, that's a little, I don't know.
Is Team
Should
Flare
I say far-fetched?
the one with the red-haired Sabretooth who wants to...
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, that guy.
I like
Okay.
Lestrade. He's
I don't like
a
him.
pretty cool villain. I just thought just the team itself was just, we're going to make the world beautiful by destroying everything.
Yeah.
And everything will be beautiful.
Pokemon will cease to-
But that's totally their leader's fault. You know what I'm saying?
I like that Giovanni is the last gym leader as well as the leader of Team Rocket.
Yeah.
It was interesting, but at the same time, it's like a small boy is taking on the leader of the mafia.
The Pokemon Mafia. The Pokemon Mafia.
I can see it now. It's like, you come here on the day of my birth to give me this Pokemon. Thank you.
He's petting a Persian. He is the godfather.
He basically is.
Oh, I get it.
Okay, so besides the main video game, what other Pokemon things are you into? Is there any other Pokemon games that you like enjoy playing?
Oh, gotcha.
Do you like
Is
playing
Stadium
games?
considered non-canon?
Well,
'Cause-
kinda.
Because I mean, the mini games in Stadium are pretty fantastic.
Yes, they are.
I love those games. I love being Scyther or Pinsir and snapping things, but and the Clefairy egg catching junk, and the one where Magikarp is just like oh, blah, oh, blah, and then hits a bell. I'm telling you, we need to play the mini games.
Let's do it.
I've always wanted to try Pokemon Snap.
Snap! Pokemon Snap!
But there was this horrible hip-hopping Pokemon guy at a convention, and he would sing, "Oh snap, Pokemon Snap." So every time someone snaps, we have to sing.
Pokemon Snap was a really cool game, but I could see it as a... to me, it felt more like this is a concept for a ride at Disney World. But it's really
Universal
An attraction.
Nintendo Land.
Yeah, 'cause you could
Safari.
yeah, it's really cool because you can take pictures and you're 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
It was the first time you actually got to see Pokemon in the wild, minus the anime.
I guess that is kind of cool.
So you actually got to see them, and then you get to pester them with like either throwing apples at them or throwing pester balls at them, and then knock them
something
out
called
and make
pester
them evolve or
balls.
something. Yeah. So
There is one more. As a child, I subjected myself to a horrible Animal Crossing ripoff where Pikachu gets a TV or something.
oh,
It's called
Pokemon
Channel,
Yeah,
yes.
for the GameCube.
I still own it. I don't know why. I haven't thrown that in the garbage yet. But it's you buy TVs with Pikachu and decorate a house, and the game is about watching TV on a TV. It's very meta.
It's very Inception. Okay.
Yeah, it's
All right.
Like a Pokeball within a Pokeball.
Right.
and you have to basically just who's that Pokemon over and over and over to get money to buy more TVs.
It seems more tedious than Hey You Pikachu.
Oh my gosh, consumerism America.
I've not tried Hey You Pikachu.
Oh, gosh.
I did dig
I've heard
the
of
Hey You
horror
Pikachu
stories.
N64 though,
Okay.
with
All right.
Pikachu's face on it.
Wow.
All right, so you've already answered this question. Have you ever watched the anime? So you've already watched that. So who is your favorite character from the anime? This could be human, Pokemon, or both.
I like the trees. I don't know. Sorry, no, I was pulling a Josh here. I think I like Misty's character, and then I really don't like when I started watching Pokemon Black and White. I did not like, what's her name? The girl? Iris. She was like really mean to Ash. Like meaner than Misty was.
Misty's pretty mean.
I don't know.
Give me back my bike, you jerk face!
Well, it was funny at the time. Now, maybe because I watched it as a kid. But I don't know. I think I really like, Serena.
Serena?
Yeah, I think she's really
Serena's
cool.
pretty cool. I like her. Although
Brendan, yeah.
I love that they blatantly made her like, she likes him. This is the whole reason. She's following him pretty much.
Well, I mean, that was kind of it with Misty. She used the bike, but...
I don't know. I feel like Misty's pretty independent.
But with other characters, it's been either subtle or just not there.
Mm-hmm.
And with Serena, they like blatantly said, yes, this girl likes this guy, and she's gonna follow him because she likes him.
She'd be the first love at first sight sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty much, it's the puppy love.
She is a lot like Ash. Like, I just saw the first episode today, honestly, and she like falls out of bed. She's like, Fletchling, don't wake me up! Like totally something Ash would do.
I love it that they basically made the beginning of X and Y the beginning of the actual show, which is cool.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, exactly.
I'm definitely thinking. I will have to say, I'm sorry, this is your interview, not mine. Diamond and Pearl has slowly gone up the ranks. Black and White is my favorite thus far. I'm not a big fan of the main characters because they're, in my opinion, most of them are kind of flat. But
in the anime?
The anime.
Like Silent and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But
Black and White, the pacing was good. The characters were good. Everything else was.
The Pokemon
really
are good too.
So, the Pokemon are really fun to watch and grow, and I love Oshawott.
Yes. Oh man, I love Oshawott.
It's a really good anime for what it was based off of. They did a good job of taking a concept of a video game into an anime. And I mean, even the opening for the first Pokemon episode, it looks like the Game Boy screen. And then it is the Game Boy screen where Gengar and Onix are fighting each other.
And then you find out things about the
that.
game, like every Pokemon Center has a Nurse Joy. Well, later on in the anime, in Diamond and Pearl, you find out Joy is actually her last name. You know,
What?
yeah, that blew my mind.
Is Jenny?
Jenny, I don't know. We don't know yet. But Joy is actually, everyone that's named Nurse Joy, that's their last name.
Oh.
So Joy is their last name.
I feel like that's a clever concept by new writers. I feel like in the original, it was kind of a joke based on the video game. Like, it's the same person, everything. So but like in Half-Life, I don't know if you ever played Half-Life games. But so in the 90s Half-Life, there's one character because it's a 90s game. That's all they had. And then when you bring it to new one, it's like, hey, it's Barney. And one of the things that he would always say in the game is, about that area. Now it's like, oh, about that area. Hey, it's a joke because they didn't have the technology to do it before. So they just, I don't know.
So it's referencing it again.
Yeah,
it's self-aware and it's funny, and I like that. And all the different things, how they incorporate Charizard not obeying Ash because he's not a big trainer.
Right.
And if your friend trades you a Pokemon that's level 100 and you only got one gym badge, it's going to do the same thing. How to incorporate all that was really good.
Yeah, I like it too. All right, so how has Pokemon influenced your life?
Well, look at his shirt. It has a Pokeball on it. He obviously thinks he can I can't English.
Dress fancy.
Dress fancy, yeah.
Okay.
That's like my swag hat as well. This is actually the first Pokemon paraphernalia I bought as an adult. I don't know. Am I an adult? I don't know. But like at the Japan Pavilion, I was like, this is the Pokemon thing I need, and I got this hat. And then later I got the shirt, Hot Topic. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely it's influenced me a lot. Like since I've been like playing the games and stuff, it's actually like what I do on my breaks all the time now. All my Japanese friends are like, haha, Pokemon. You're still playing? Yes.
Of course I'm still playing.
I gotta catch them all, okay?
There's 720 Pokemon. I ain't gonna catch themselves.
I know. No, but being...
Well, if you really think about it, like a lot of people complain that that's a lot of Pokemon, but if you really think about it compared to our real world, that's just a drop in the bucket. You know,
yes.
So how many different animals we have in the real world is vastly, you know.
It's different because we don't have living keychains.
Right. We don't have living keychains. But how do you know that?
I don't know. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. My purse is a Pokemon.
That's right.
I've been sitting on.
All right. So, what would you like to see Pokemon do in the next 20 years?
Would you want to say not add 720 more?
Yeah, I would say not kill itself would be a good thing. To me, the series is starting to suffer from sub fatigue, from doing the same thing over and over and over again, and I feel like, as I said earlier, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. We may have a lot more animals than Pokemon, but now they've run out of Pokemon to make, so they're doing chandeliers and...
Hey, I like Chandelure. He's cool. He's
also on my ghost team.
A lot of people like him, and
he's
like
an awesome Pokemon.
It's inanimate objects now. It's
funny.
It's the same game over and over.
It's
again.
new material for kids to be like, oh, my parents don't let me go outside. They're afraid of animals, and then they're like, that lamp, it's my friend. I feel like that's where that concept evolved from, like, pardon the pun as well.
I mean, I am excited because they're doing some new things, like the Pokemon Go thing. I am excited for.
Bottlemon. Sorry.
People running around and catching Pokemon. I'm curious to see how it goes.
How it goes.
Pokemon Go. High fives.
You two are terrible. But
Did you say Mewtwo are what? Oh man, can we butter someone around?
We're starting with the puns early now.
Yeah, it's a part of the show, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
okay.
Right.
We're canon.
All right, that's cool. I like it. What about you?
What was the question?
What would you like to see Pokemon do in the next 20 years?
Actually, I've thought about this a lot. I think it would be cool to maybe show the same Pokemon, but like in different situations. Like sometimes there's like, oh, Ash catches this Pokemon, or sometimes Ash doesn't catch this Pokemon. I'd like to see more interactions like that, just like, or even like with a new protagonist. I think I've just seen a lot of like fan theories of like, oh, Ash was in a coma like for like 14, 24, whatever, how many years. But I think it would be cool to still have like new people in the show, but still the same Pokemon. Like it could be different stories instead of like, oh, now they're Mecha Godzilla type Pokemon. Like why are they like? It doesn't have to be futuristic. It doesn't have to be like this desk is a Pokemon. Like I don't think they need to keep doing that inanimate object thing as well. But I think they should also do more with Pokemon Go.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, that's a
fair.
lot.
No, that's fair. No, that's good.
Cool.
All right. So now that we've interviewed you guys, now it's time to actually get into Pokemon the First Movie.
Dun, dun, dun.
So usually during our podcasts, what we do is we go over some fun facts. Now, what I usually do is I either just go over fun facts about the episode, or I'll go over the featured Pokemon for that episode because they didn't ever have fun facts or nothing happened. Or,
Nothing fun
but
happened.
for this, because it's the first movie, I had tons of facts, and also I got some facts about Mewtwo. So we're going to go over these real quick. So, firstly, Pokemon the First Movie was released in Japan on July 18th, 1998.
It's coming up.
So,
Oh, wait, never mind.
and it was released in North America on November 10th, 1999. So almost a complete year after Japan got it, we got it.
Gotcha.
It's like 7 when I saw that movie.
Yeah. Now, Pokemon the First Movie made a domestic gross of $85,744,662.
That's
How many
almost as
cents?
much as
Yep.
I make.
And made a worldwide total of $163,644,662.
That sounds like a lot.
It is the 5th top-grossing animated TV adaptation of all time, and the top being the Simpsons movie.
Aww.
Spider-Pig.
That's also a Pokemon, so we should get there should be credit for that.
It was the 3rd top-grossing G-rated movie of 1999. The top being Toy Story 2, and followed by Tarzan. Just came out that year.
I like both those.
The top-grossing movie. What do you think the top-grossing movie in 1999 was?
Oh, and probably not Lion King. That was 95, right? Can't say Frozen.
Has to do with a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, yes. Star Wars.
Was
Star
was
Wars
that episode 1?
Episode 1.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And all this information came from a website called Box Office Mojo,
Ooh.
which they keep track of like box office and whatnot. Okay.
Jojo.
So yes, it was run by Mojo Jojo. As a
You must know your movies.
Plot twist.
Several moves were used in the Pokemon the First Movie that were not available as of yet.
Oh, that's what you're
Okay,
saying.
we were talking about it earlier. Mewtwo used Shadow Ball.
Mm-hmm.
The Blastoise clone, or for henceforth Blastoise 2, used Rapid Spin.
It's a mouthful.
Raymond's Donphan used Rollout. And of course, Donphan being a Pokemon that hadn't appeared in America yet. It was the first time a lot of people got to see Donphan Meryl,
That was
and Snubble. Yeah.
Gen 2. You know what? I did like that Gen. Never mind, go ahead.
Yeah. This movie marks the only time in the anime that Pikachu is shown going into a Pokeball. The second, it's only the second time he's actually come out of a Pokeball. The first time being, of course, the first episode.
So that was really it.
Yep, he's never gone into a Pokeball since.
That's good.
And continues to this day. Of the Pokemon seen in the movie, only Misty's Togepi, Staryu, and James's Weezing were not captured and cloned by Mewtwo. Misty had hid Togepi in her backpack, whereas Staryu and Weezing were never released from her Pokemon during the gathering. As noted above, Mewtwo was not originally supposed to appear on screen until the scene of it appearing before the trainers on New Island, which is why in the second part of the movie you don't see Mewtwo until he appears. The montage depicting the creation, servitude under Team Rocket and the rebellion of Giovanni was added later due to the 3-month hiatus caused by the events of Episode 38.
Oh,
for those of you who don't know about Episode 38, it was called Electric Soldier Porygon, and that was the seizure because they went on hiatus after that episode aired and made a lot of kids sick, and because of that, that's when it was added. So
I totally forgot about that. Yeah. And
the funny thing is, it wasn't Pikachu who did that. It was Pikachu who actually did the scene where the big flashing that made people. But Porygon, because of what happened, Porygon and all of Porygon's evolutions have never been shown on TV since. So Porygon is pretty much the only Pokemon that you don't ever see. There's been one cameo of Porygon in one of the movies, but that's about it.
Wow.
So yeah. All right. Now on to some Mewtwo facts.
Ooh.
Mewtwo facts. All right, here we go. If you didn't know, Mewtwo is a psychic type.
Oh.
What?
Hey, he's on your team. Yeah?
This could be Tummy's Clue.
All right. He is 6'2". And
he's bigger than Charizard then.
Yep, he's bigger than Charizard.
Okay.
And he's 260 pounds.
Like me? I don't know.
He's weak.
I don't know how much.
He's weak to bug, dark, and ghost types.
Bug?
Yep. Psychics were weak to bugs since the beginning.
I mean, just I'm imagining like Venomoth or something like attack.
It's the only
swat it away.
It's the funny thing was because in the original bug type moves were super effective against psychic, but there were no bug type moves. So psychic types run rampant, basically. For the first two generations, for the first generation, psychic types were the all-powerful type.
Okay.
And then dark types came in Gen 2, and then kind of balanced the scale a little bit, but psychic types were still kind of dominant. And then in Gen 3, dragon types became dominant, because dragon became a typing. And dragon types were hugely dominant until X and Y when they added fairy types.
Stupid keychain.
All right. According to a journal in the Pokemon Mansion, in the original Pokemon game, Mewtwo's birthday is February 6th. So it's
happy
one of
birthday.
the only Pokemon that, as we know, has a birthday.
That's so cute, I think.
Also in the original Pokemon games, Mewtwo has the highest level. Is the highest level wild Pokemon that you can catch, and can only be found after you beat the Elite Four. Also, in the original games, it is alluded that Mr. Fuji, a kind old man that takes in orphan Pokemon that you meet in Lavender Town, is the one who created Mewtwo.
That's his name, Mr. Fuji?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In fact, they even, if you watch the Pokemon Origins special, which I highly recommend, especially for older Pokemon lovers, they actually allude to that as well, as a kind of a homage to the game itself. In the original manga, Mewtwo was actually created by gym leader Blaine, who actually used...
Random.
Yeah, he actually used Mew's DNA fused with his own DNA.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah, and because of this, Blaine's left arm, because he used some blood from his arm, could actually sense when Mewtwo was near. Because I don't know if you've ever seen Princess Mononoke, but
not yet. Not
okay.
yet.
He had this arm that throbbed and like almost came alive basically anytime Mewtwo was near or anything like that. It's actually really cool. I highly suggest the manga. Highly suggest the manga. It's a little darker than the anime. They even there's a part where there's Pokemon zombies, which
that's
kind
cool.
of weird. They had a Psyduck zombie, which was actually kind of creepy.
Well, yes.
I thought Psyduck was a zombie. No.
Well, probably not. Anyways,
One step away.
Mewtwo's first appearance in the anime was in 2 episodes that connected directly to the movie, which was Battle for the Badge and Showdown at the Poké-pals.
I remember those episodes.
If you remember from the movie, at the beginning, they actually show those episodes. So when they shows Gary fighting with his Arcanine and his Nidoking, that's from the episode. And then the shot where the base blows up and you see him fly off and all his armor comes off, that's actually from the episode, and you're actually seeing it from Team Rocket's perspective.
That was one of my first episodes too. I think that might have been on the DVD. Whoa!
VHS.
Whoa! Sorry, yeah. Even DVDs are old now. Just kidding.
There is another movie with Mewtwo in it. It's called Genesect: The Legend Awakens, and according to the creators of the movie, that Mewtwo is actually different. It's actually a completely different Mewtwo, and it has a female voice.
What about Mewtwo Returns?
Well, that was a TV movie, but yeah. Okay. Mewtwo Returns was like the sequel to the first movie, but it was like a direct-to-TV movie. This was actual...
Kind of like Cinderella 2.
Yeah, kind of like Cinderella 2. But yeah, it's really weird when I first saw Genesect: The Legend Awakens and hearing a girl voice coming out of Mewtwo's.
I'm like trying to imagine.
boss.
Is it like Siri? Like I feel like
I'll have to show it to you after the podcast because it's really strange. But if you think about it, it actually kind of makes sense because you've already made a male Mewtwo.
Can they have babies though? Because I thought they're like.
Well, in the game they can't breed because they're legendaries and they don't let any legendaries breed. But in the anime.
If they're a baby, would they make a Mew or a baby Mewtwo?
I don't know, baby Mewtwo probably.
Maybe it'd be a whole new baby type.
Mew 3.
It's true.
Like Pichu style.
In most of Mewtwo's appearances, he's used as a final boss. So in any kind of Pokemon game, for the most part, he's used as a final boss. In Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, he's used as a final boss.
Cool.
Pokemon Pinball, he's used as a final boss. Pokemon Puzzle League, he's used as a final boss. And Pokemon Ranger Guardian Signs, he's used as a final boss, but you have to fight him twice.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of interesting.
It's like a retest.
Now let's talk about Mega Evolution.
Ooh, goody. I like this stuff.
Alright, Mega Mewtwo Y is the first Mega Evolution to be shown in the general public. And the special, the Genesect and the Legend Awakened, was actually the first time Mewtwo was shown Mega Evolving. But she can actually, I'm going to call her she, because that's
She too.
She can actually Mega Evolve without Stone or Trainer.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. It was released before X and Y came out, and it was the first time they called it Mega Evolution.
Okay.
How does she two come into? Does another person like clone Mew?
That's the theory. That's the theory. Team Galactic. The theory is Team Galactic. Or wait, no. What was the Team Plasma? Is it Team Plasma?
Yeah.
Team not Rocket.
Team Rocket.
All the same.
Let's just say Team Plasma, because I believe that's in Unova. So Team Plasma cloned Mewtwo, took off Team Rocket's experiment and cloned Mewtwo and made a girl version. And then because of their what they did with Mewtwo, they also created Genesect. Which the prevailing theory is Genesect is actually a genetically altered Kabuto.
Oh, yeah. Now I see it. Okay.
So it was originally called Mewtwo's Awakened form, which was the Mega Mewtwo Y.
Well, that would make sense.
Mewtwo and Charizard are the only Pokemon to date that have 2 Mega Evolutions, both X and Y.
I wonder why.
I don't know. They're probably just really popular.
Yeah.
Mewtwo's Megas are tied with Mega Rayquaza for the highest base stat total, 780 for all.
Rayquaza.
Mega Mewtwo X, which is a Psychic and Fighting type, has the highest base attack of all Pokemon, as well as the highest base stat and base special attack of all fighting types. Wow. And Mega Mewtwo X is tied with Hariyama for the tallest fighting type.
Wait, you said Mewtwo X on both of them. Which one is which?
Mewtwo Y is the fairy-looking one. And Mewtwo X is the bulky fighting type.
Okay, gotcha.
Mewtwo Y has the highest base stat special attack of all Pokemon and is the highest single base stat of any psychic types.
Okay, there you go.
So that's pretty much all the fun facts.
Cool.
So
That was fun.
let's finally get into the movie because I know you guys are all waiting for that.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a very Reader's Digest version of the movie.
Does that mean it's
So,
funny? I'm not sure what that
I'd
means.
probably be funny. Just very quick.
Means something you'd listen to in the bathroom.
Right. That's it. That's exactly what it
Awesome.
means.
I'll get
Okay.
my voice in the
Reader's
shower.
Digest.
Oh.
So we start off the movie with bubbles, not the Powerpuff Girl.
That's actually
We see that there's water and bubbles, and then we get this. The narrator comes in and does this whole thing about how
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, about life, the great mystery, and how people in Pokemon have been searching for the meaning of life. And then in the background, you kind of hear Mewtwo and kind of his thoughts. And
What do I stand for?
yeah. And then we also see Mew, who's flying around, which you mentioned must be like memories that Mewtwo is having of being Mew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how they, in that scene, kind of put against each other natural, like Mew underwater looking at the bubbles and stuff, and human made, where Mewtwo is looking at the bubbles from his birth tank.
Yeah.
And they kind of contrast the two while it's the same.
Right. All right. So Mewtwo, of course, wakes up in his tube and sees people outside, and somehow he remembers being outside and he wishes to be there.
I want
Now-
to be where the people are.
Now, I will say there is actually a deleted. If you thought that prologue was long, there's actually a deleted scene that's only in the Japanese version that comes even before that. Because for some reason they have very, very long prologues in Japan. But you actually find out
Assassin's
that you actually find out that Mewtwo is cloned from Mew. The main scientist, which we'll call Mr. Fuji, because Professor Fuji,
Fuji-san.
who created him, he lost his daughter, and he was using this cloning process as kind of a way to bring his daughter back. And somehow he had saved his daughter's consciousness. So not her body, but her consciousness is saved.
Like a little ball of light or something.
Yeah, a little ball of light in the tube. And then he's also cloning a Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, which look very oddly like the clones that you see later on in the movie.
Oh, so you do see them. That's
Right.
cool. I like that.
Well, what happens is the Mewtwo as a baby is a cute little baby Mewtwo, absolutely cute thing.
Oh, Avis.
All the clones meet in this kind of like mental like place. So you see the kid, you see the Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, and then you see Mewtwo, and they're all kind of conversing and talking. And the little girl is teaching Mewtwo about the world and how the world is. And
That is so
this
sweet.
is my house, and this is my life. And then the worst thing starts happening. Slowly but surely, every clone starts to die.
No.
And then in the dream world
So
that they're
sad.
in, the clones will start disappearing and disappearing and disappearing, and then finally it gets to the girl,
Uh-oh.
and she starts disappearing, and Mewtwo's like, "No, don't go," and she's like, "No, it's okay, it's all right, I'll be fine," and then she disappears, and then Mewtwo gets furious, and they actually say in the short that they pumped him full of drugs and made him forget what had happened. So he already has some anger stored in him, and it kind of actually shows that he's very angry.
So it's like Darth Vader Padme style.
Yeah.
Break the tank.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so let's go back to the movie
He is
now.
like Darth Vader. I knew it.
So he breaks
Force
out of
chokes
the tube. He force chokes him. He breaks out of the tube, and then the lead professor, again, Professor Fuji, explains to Mewtwo that he is a clone. And he says, "You're a clone."
Oh.
Oh.
Way to ease me into that, buddy.
Way to ease
That's
me
where
in
babies come from.
They kind of explain that they extracted the DNA from you, and they created Mewtwo, and they kind of genetically altered him a little bit.
Happy first birthday. Here's your
Right.
life. Okay.
And this whole time, Mewtwo is kind of bringing this all in, and then like all the professors start congratulating each other on a great job and what they've done, and Mewtwo's just kind of sitting there like, okay, what about me? You know, what am I supposed to do now? What is this all about? Am I just an experiment? And so he gets really angry, and then of course unleashes his
Cosmic
fury.
ultimate power.
Yeah.
I love Disney stuff.
But yeah, he starts
so
unleashing
much.
his power and then kills everyone.
I kill you.
So then, of course, after he uses all his power, of course, enter Giovanni. Now Giovanni comes in and says, "Hey, listen, you don't have control of your power. I can show you how to do that." And Mewtwo's like, "Oh, I can show you." So Mewtwo's at first kind of reluctant, and then it's like, "Okay, fine." So of course, then we get the awesome Mewtwo armor, which is like the best part.
It's pretty cool.
It's freaking awesome armor, man. And Mewtwo says, "Well, this is constricting my powers," and he says, "No, this is just focusing it. So you got to learn how to do it before we can let you out of the armor." So then Mewtwo starts kind of discovering his armor through like montage after montage of just things that he keeps doing. You know, showing off his powers, making Tauros float in the air, and, Team Rocket catch them all, and
so funny.
And then, of course, fighting the gym battles with Giovanni. And the whole time he's doing this, he's discovering his power. And then at the very end of the montage, he's like, okay, I get that I'm powerful. So what now? What is my purpose in life? It can't just be this. And so, he has this whole inner monologue of, is this just all I'm good for? And then, of course, Giovanni comes in and says, you were made to serve me. And then, of course, that's when Mewtwo feels betrayed and then blows up more stuff. And then rockets away.
I'm adopted? What do you mean?
And then flies off in the air, and then all his awesome armor comes off of him. And then he goes back to New Island, and of course, he says that he's going to enact a plan. And that's when the movie starts. All right. So now we get into, of course, Ash's intro. And this is very similar to any anime that you watch. You have the announcer kind of talk about where they are in their journey and what they're doing. And at this point, they're just taking a picnic. They're sitting around taking a picnic. Brock is cooking and Misty is complaining because Ash hasn't moved since breakfast. And it's because Ash is very hungry and he doesn't want to move because he hasn't had lunch yet.
Some of those stereotypes there.
Right. So then, of course, we get a Pokemon trainer who comes up to him. And I think we all said this at the same time. It's like, this guy's from Team Aqua.
Yeah. Except it was a red bandana.
Right. It was like, is this guy from Team Aqua? Did he come all the way from Hoenn?
You'll see soon, honey.
So, I don't know. He's just kind of a weird Pokemon trainer. And of course, he challenges Ash to a battle. Now, here's something that I always throw out. Here's my theory.
Oh.
Do you think Mewtwo was controlling this trainer and making him fight Ash to kind of test to see if Ash was one of the trainers that he was going to invite to his island?
I don't think so, because of the emotion that he showed at the end. He showed just frustration, like, I'm gonna send 3 Pokemon out at the same time.
So if it was, Mewtwo's kind of deadpan.
Yeah.
I think it's just like Firo is candid camera at that point, scouting the island for worthy Pokemon trainers.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that's how we found. Oh, okay, I didn't actually get that until just now.
So, all right. So let's talk a little bit about the battles real quick. So first, we get our first look at Dawn Fan. This is the first time anyone had ever seen a Dawn Fan.
Yeah, I got excited.
So this was his fight against Bulbasaur, which we all know Bulbasaur had the upper hand because he's a ground type. Ground types have weakness against grass. So Bulbasaur had the upper hand and does Solar Beam, and then knocks out Dawn Fan right away. We also see Rollout for the first time, which is a move used by
Autobots.
Yeah.
Use Rollout. I had to.
And then after that battle, we get Squirtle versus Machamp, which somehow Squirtle beats Machamp with a Bubble Beam. Or Bubble, I wasn't really sure exactly which one.
It burns my eyes. my forearms can't handle this. What?
And then, of course, out of frustration, as you mentioned earlier, he pulls out 3 other Pokemon, which are Golem, Venomoth, and Pinsir. And Pikachu shocks them all, even though Golem wouldn't be affected because he's a ground type. But we're just going to glance over that. It happened.
Pikachu is super thunder. We know this from the first episode.
This is true. This is true.
It just adds magic.
Yeah,
It's like that Sandshrew that goes in the water. Pikachu is just negates all types. He's so powerful.
All right.
Yeah, believe it. We were shocked.
We were shocked.
And-
Whatever. And we're moving on. So, of course, just like every Pokemon episode of the anime, of course, who we doing show up next? Team Rocket.
The best fan faves.
Team Rocket shows up and they're watching the battle and all this, and Meowth they all kind of explain what they're doing there, because I guess everyone has to understand why they are there, why they are spying on these kids.
They're up to no good.
So
Hoodlums.
they kind of explain that they're here to steal Pokemon, blah blah blah, and Meowth is complaining that the fact that he's really hungry, he needs food, and Jessie says that she would cook something, and which she pulls out a pan, and we're still not sure where that pan came from.
All right, Rapunzel. Jeez.
So
I can cook for you. Where'd you get that?
yeah, where'd you get that pan? And then of course Meowth.
It was
Meowth.
deadpan.
And then Meowth says that the last time she cooked, she killed 8 of his 9 lives, which was hilarious. And then, of course, we find out that Ash was watching Mewtwo, because during the battle, you see glimpses of like a video being played of anytime like Ash won or the fight.
Oh yeah,
You see just quick little glimpses, and finally find out that the glimpses were actually a camera that was attached to a Firo.
Mewtwo's like, this will be perfect.
And yes, Mewtwo was watching the whole thing. And then, of course, we get the whole, boss is sitting in his boss chair and has his servant, and she asked if this is another trainer that he wants to invite. He says yes. So we send out one of my favorite Pokemons, Dragonite.
Dun, dun, dun.
And Dragonite starts flying and has awesome music, and Dragonite then knocks over Team Rocket, and then knocks over Ash and Company, and then just lands.
And then
It's like,
after that, Team Rocket just stops it with a frying pan.
Right?
That was pretty funny.
That was good.
So Dragonite pulls out an invitation, which was a hologram, which of course your first reaction was, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. But here's the funny thing I thought was interesting about this, was that they had this holographic projection, yet they still had a piece of paper that you had to check yes or no.
Kind of like when you pass a note to a girl in class. Do you like me? Yes.
Do you like me? Do you like me?
Girl takes note, crumples it, throws it behind her,
Yeah.
incinerates in midair.
Yes, absolutely, definitely.
Or call me
that's how you
maybe.
have to rig it.
On a scale of 1 to 10. And then she puts a negative marker, we haven't even learned about this yet.
Aw, that's usually what happens to me.
Oh,
Anyways,
sorry.
So we
Didn't
move
mean to
on.
bring back the memory.
So Mewtwo, then we go back to the island, and Mewtwo starts waving his hands around, and you see the clouds kind of form around the island, kind of forming I would say like a super hurricane. And I meant to comment that this kind of looks like the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Kind of look like Mewtwo is kind of moving the clouds around. So, yeah. I thought that was kind of cool. As he was using this power, it flashes to Mew, who is underwater in a bubble. And just like Mewtwo had woken up at the beginning of the movie with his eye, you see his eye kind of open. Mew also has his eye open in almost the exact same shot. And then comes out of the bubble and then flies out of the water towards the island. So I'm thinking that whatever Mewtwo was doing was powerful enough to wake Mew and go. Mew was like, oh, cool, this is something fun, let's go to it.
Question, was that the same Mew they got the DNA from, you think? Or
I don't know, because
I've always wondered that, actually.
They explained that it was a fossilized hair sample.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe it was an more ancient Mew.
I've always heard that Mew is the original Pokemon, and that there's only one Mew, and they kind of look at his tail as something, or I don't even want to get into that theory. But the original Pokemon.
I think I know where you're going.
Well, when Mew was originally designed, he looked like like an unborn baby, basically.
Mhm.
A fetus.
Yeah, he looked like a fetus.
right.
And the tail, his tail was supposed to look like an umbilical cord. So, I mean, if you look
like
at it
that
that way,
better.
it looked creepy. I've seen the original sprites, and yeah, it looked creepy.
Oh, wow, okay.
So,
I won't go to the Shadowlands.
yeah, don't play the original Japanese game.
Wow, okay, endorsements.
So Ash and company start running towards the port, and it starts raining. They're all trying to get out of the rain. And then we go to the port where we see a whole bunch of Pokemon and Pokemon trainers. My question is, do you think they show every single Pokemon in this? Do you think they show all 151 in this movie? I don't know. I didn't count.
I don't believe so.
No, I think that'd be too many.
No,
episode
I did
Cubo,
not see
we
a
don't see
Magikarp or a Zubat.
We don't see Cubo either, so, okay. Marowak, we don't see him, so.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, Ash and company are surprised how fast the storm came in. And we get the little shot of Pikachu kind of shaking the rain off his fur, which I thought was kind of interesting.
After the kids just got dried. They're like,
Right.
Pikachu, oh my gosh.
So then we get Officer Jenny and the Harbor Master, and they talk about
Soviet
That,
Russia.
yeah, the Soviet Russian, the Russian Harbor Master.
I was waiting for this. I was like, I can't wait to talk about this lady.
Your Russian fans just turned off their podcast.
Oh.
Yo, the Soviet Russia. In the Soviet Russia, Pokemon catch you.
They're like, do I sound like that? Pokemon catch you.
So, I think she was a pretty cool design. I don't know if her voice actually fit her character.
Like, what?
Yeah, but I mean,
She's from Minnesota, like the Viking.
Yeah, she's from Minnesota. We'll talk about that here in a moment. So yeah, she talks about this legend, which the minute I heard this when I was younger, it just kind of glanced over me, but when I'm older, it's like, oh, plot point. So she talks about how there was this huge storm and a lot of people died and only a few Pokemon survived.
That's
and
so
the Pokemon cried, and because of their tears somehow brought the dead back to life. So that's basically it.
Pokemon tears greater than potion.
Apparently you can use it. They're more powerful than a Phoenix down. See there? I made a Final Fantasy reference. Alright, so moving on. I feel like
Too many RPGs.
I feel like I'm David Letterman. I'm kind of just like sitting here with the cards. Yeah. Anyways, so some of the trainers hear all this and they're like, yeah, whatever, we're just going to get to this island and we're going to use our Pokemon, so peace out. And so they start using their Pokemon. Now, I made the comment to watch, there's one trainer with a Fearow that apparently never makes it to the island because you don't ever see them again.
He's not worthy. He comes back.
He might have died. We don't know.
No, I think they saw like, oh my god, McDonald's.
I mean, the Fearow is pretty a brutal Pokemon. It's one of those Pokemon that I look at and like, this Pokemon wants to kill you till you're dead. And then maybe afterwards. Like Beedrill. Like the minute I see Beedrill, it's like, yeah, that Pokemon I'd never want to see.
Oh, it's a Pokemon made after a frickin' bee.
Yeah,
Bees are
With twin needle hands.
You've got the Tyrannosaurus Rex,
Right.
and then you have like spiders, and then you have the bee. And
Right.
the bee is just it terrifies you
And
whenever you see it.
I've imagined this, like, in the anime, it looks quite massive. Like, bees are like this big.
Right.
I mean, that's terrifying
Beedrills are
enough.
huge.
Oh my gosh, no. Why would you want to keep that as a pet?
I don't know. Anyways, so Officer Jenny tries to stop these Pokemon trainers, but to no avail. And then the Harbor Master's like, let them go. They'll be Pokemon Masters.
She gives a huge speech on, hey, everyone, do not go.
Do not go.
Do not go to a Pokemon Island. And then she's like, let them go. It is they following the heart. It makes them masters. It builds character.
It builds character.
Hurricanes, they build the character.
In Florida.
In
In Florida, we know this well. Like, we do the sandbags. We face this stuff every day. We're like, all right, I'm just going to go drive my little, 2x4 car. I made it to work.
So then, of course, we've got Ash, Misty, and Brock, and Ash is like, yeah, let's do this. Let's use our water Pokemon. And then Misty, always being the killjoy, is like, Ash, we have very small water Pokemon. They're not going to carry us.
She's like, Pokemon aren't powerful enough. He's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's literally what happened.
And then the best part of the movie.
Right. And then the best part of the movie, of course, we get Team Rocket, who are in disguise as Vikings.
A ding-a-ding-a-ding.
Well, but what sells it and what made me laugh out loud is Meowth as the Viking maiden on the bow of the ship. It was pretty funny. And then Ash makes the comment, "Oh yeah, Vikings. They're kind of extinct, but they mostly live in Minnesota these days." Is that a reference to something, or is that just random?
That is a very infamous scene for a lot of Pokemon
Poor
theorists.
Minnesotans.
For a lot of Pokemon theorists.
Oh,
I think my thing is they just put that in
hilarious.
there so that parents could laugh. You know, 'cause
Or
you
like
gotta-
us.
I mean, parents are
20
forced
years
to
later.
watch this movie. You gotta have to put something in there so that they laugh. But there's a lot of Pokemon theorists out there that say, well, there's different universes, and why? Of course, they would know where Minnesota is, and
It's like Johto is like Canada.
Oh, okay. So they're saying that Pokemon's actually part of the real world.
Right. Well, there's a whole prevailing theory.
Why
of
Minnesota?
multiple
Why not, like,
universes
America?
and-
I don't want to hear that. This is garbage. It's a
All right.
children's cartoon, people.
Yeah, just.
All right, Arcaders, we are going to end it right here. So thank you so much for listening to our Pokemon 20th Anniversary Special Edition podcast. This is only part 1. Now, part 2 will come out next week, and we'll have some more interviewees as well as the rest of Pokemon the First Movie. We also will have a very special announcement about this very podcast at the very end of that one. So please stay tuned to that. Thank you so much again for joining us. If you want to leave your own review for Pokemon the First Movie, make sure you find us on thearcadearchives.com. Make sure you comment below. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you comment. If you're listening to this on iTunes, please make sure to like and share, and also to leave a review. Thank you again so much for listening, guys, and best wishes to all of you. Thank you for joining us for this Arcade Archives Network video. If you like this, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and leave comments below. If you would like more, please go to thearcadearchives.com or zowie.kerpowie.com. Thank you so much once again for joining us for this Arcade Archives Network video, and don't forget to keep playing like it's 1981.
Message from headquarters. This is a Rebellion production and is part of the Arcade Archives Network. That is all.